Hey y'all, welcome to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger and glad to have y'all here with us today. So today we're going to be making a old recipe that my mother used to make when I was just a small child. And so I grew up eating this ever so often. She didn't make it all the time, but she did make it occasionally. And so I want to share this recipe with you guys. So what we're going to be doing is stuffed green bell peppers. And I'm going to show you exactly how my mom did it. So now the first thing that you're going to want to do when you're doing your stuffed bell peppers is, of course, you're going to have to clean your bell peppers. You're going to get the seeds and everything out of the center of them. Now, sometimes my mom would just cut the tops out of the bell peppers and then stuff everything down in it and leave them sitting up straight like that. But sometimes she would do it this way, which really doesn't matter because first thing I would always do when I would get one of them is I would take a knife and cut it down the center and let it fall over into two pieces. That way I could put extra juice on top of it. So this works just fine. But if you want to leave them sitting up, that'll work just fine. Little tip, if you have a problem with them sitting up, if you're going to do them as a whole pepper, take and cut you just a little bit off the very, very bottom of it, just enough that it'll make a flat surface. And that way your peppers will sit up straight. All right, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we've got 1 pound of hamburger here. And we've got a small onion chopped pretty fine. We're going to put our onion in there. So that's got our onion in there. And let's give that onion just a little bit of a stir in with that hamburger or ground beef. Some of you want to call it ground beef. When I was growing up, we kind of used the words interchangeably, ground beef or hamburger. So it's like I told somebody in the comments, they said that ground beef wasn't hamburger, and I said, well, where does hamburger come from? It comes from ground beef. So, but anyway, so we're going to just kind of incorporate those onions just a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to put our rice in there, and this is 1 cup of minute rice. Now, minute rice works better, and that's what my mom always used, so that's what we're going to use too. So we're just going to put that in there, and we're going to give it another stir and try to get everything incorporated into the hamburger. Sounds crunchy this way. And then the next thing we're going to put in is we've got some garlic powder, some salt, and some pepper. And of course, y'all know I'm going to leave it in the description, and you'll be able to get that. And then we've got a little bit of granulated garlic or dried garlic, whatever you want to call it. We're going to sprinkle that in there. Again, the amounts will be in the description. And then we're just going to mix it up and get everything incorporated. So once I get that done, we'll come back and stuff some peppers. All right, y'all. So once I put me a pair of gloves on too. But once I got the onions and all of the seasonings and everything incorporated in it, then we put in 1 cup of tomato sauce. Then I continued to mix that up, and then this is what we look like once we got it all mixed up. So now our next thing is going to be to stuff our peppers. All right, so let's start stuffing our peppers. And we'll just take this much and that'll get us started. We'll put it in there, and we want to just push down and push it into all the little nooks and corners and crevices. And We want to stuff it just as much as we can, but now one thing, you don't want to go crazy with it because this rice is going to expand when it starts to cook, but we want a good amount in there. And now I think that we're going to have quite a bit of this mixture left because I think with my mom's recipe that it would cook, or it would do about 6 peppers. So what we're going to do with this is probably take it and make some little meatballs out of it. And we're going to put those meatballs in this container and have a little extra meat to go with our peppers, because you can never have too much meat to go with your peppers. All right, y'all. So we've got our pepper stuffed. I made 4 meatballs and put 2 down here and 2 up there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the tomato sauce that we had left, which was about a half a can, and we're going to fill that can up with water. Put a little bit more water in here, and then we're going to pour this sauce, the tomato sauce and the water, all around our little peppers. Just try to pour them to where that you get them down the center and around the edges, and it should be about halfway up the sides of the peppers, which I believe that's about what we've got. All right. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some aluminum foil. We're going to cover this with aluminum foil very tightly. And then we're going to go into a preheated 350-degree oven. All right. So I'm going to get some aluminum foil and get put over these and get them ready to go in the oven. And then we will be back when they are done. All right, y'all. So it's been about an hour and 45 minutes, somewhere around in there. And we've taken them out. And about 15 minutes before they were ready to come out, we took the aluminum foil off and we added a little more tomato sauce to the top of them. That's how my mom always did it. So that's how we did it. So now the only thing we got to do is get a pepper out, put it on a plate, and get ready to taste it and see how it is. So here's our plate. We got our stuffed pepper, we got some creamed potatoes that Audrey made, and some fried squash. And one thing I didn't tell you when I first showed you the picture after the peppers had come out of the oven, and my mom didn't ever do this, but it is something that if you want to, when you first take it out of the oven, you can put you some shredded cheese on there, mozzarella, cheddar, just whatever you like. You can put it on there and let that melt on it while you let it cool for a few minutes. But again, like I say, my mom never did it that way, so we're not going to do it that way. But this is exactly how she made it. So we're going to see if I did good and made it taste like my mama's. All right, y'all. So got a piece of it cut here. Got a bunch of burger and rice and got a piece of pepper on the back side here. So let's give it a try and see how it is. Mm, mm, mm. Y'all, that tastes exactly like what my mama used to make when I was a kid. It's delicious. The peppers are super tender. The meat and the rice is super tender. Everything is just perfect. It almost makes me think that my mom was here and she actually made this because it is that close and tastes exactly like hers. So, y'all, this is delicious. I hope you'll make it for your family. Share it with your friends. Remember to hit that like and subscribe. Click on that bell. Leave us a comment if you do your stuffed peppers a little different from what we do. Leave us a comment. Tell us how you do yours. And I read every one of them. Sometimes if YouTube doesn't show them to me, I may not read them, but I have had some that popped up even a month or two later that I never even saw when they first got posted. But I do read them. So y'all leave us a comment. Tell us what you do to your peppers. And appreciate y'all being here. And again, hope you'll try it. And we will see you next time. And y'all have a great one.